What's up, everyone? Welcome to Max's Football Playbook, your go-to spot for power rankings, weekly game predictions, and off-season discussions like the draft or free agency. This is episode 1, and today I'll be doing a one-round NFL mock draft post-Super Bowl. This is our first one ever. Let's go. It is also Mock Draft Monday, so we will try to make this a tradition where every Monday we do mock drafts, whether it's 1 round, 2 round, or 3 round. Today's draft will have no trades, but as I said, if we're going to continue making Mock Draft Monday a thing, I'll make sure to include trades in the future. So without further ado, let's get into it. With the first pick, this is the most obvious pick. It's probably got to be Fernando Mendoza. I think he has a 50% chance of succeeding with Los Angeles. Character-wise, Fernando Mendoza has everything you like. I know he kind of talks like a robot or like he reads off ChatGPT, but I'm okay with it because he says the right things. He's a great leader, and as he showed in the championship game, he's also tough and will fight through any big hit, which I love about quarterbacks. The key here with his success is going to be if the Raiders can find an offensive line. If they don't give him much first year, they might just kill his confidence, kill all that winning mentality he had from Indiana. But if they can get a good offensive line, I could see this team being potential playoff contenders next year. Next up, the New York Jets. Between this pick, I think you got to go defensive line here. For me, it's Ruben Bain or Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese, he's a bit of a tweener. Like, as you can see, it says he plays linebacker. But people project him out to be an edge. And I don't really like taking tweeners that high. So I'm going to go Ruben Bain. In my opinion, Ruben Bain is a top 3 player in this draft. He has everything you want. He learned from a great head coach. He's very polished. The only hindrance on him is short arms, but I don't think that's going to affect him because he's just so talented. Next up, with the third pick, we have the Arizona Cardinals. Here, I think they should take an offensive tackle or a guard. With this pick, I was between Francis Mauigoa. I'm probably saying that wrong. My bad, guys. Or they should go Spencer Fano. Most people think Francis is better, and I agree with that. I think he's slightly better than Spencer Fano. But in my opinion, Spencer Fano is a better fit because he's more versatile and he can also kick into guard, which is what could help the Cardinals a lot more because they also need guard as well as tackle. With the fourth pick, I think this could be an offensive pick, but because the Titans hired Robert Saleh, I'm going to go with Arvell Reese. He's going to love Arvell Reese. Robert Saleh is going to use him as a chess piece because Reese can defend multiple positions, even though he's kind of a tweener, so you got to find a specific role for him, depending on what he wants. And I think he would help establish this defense as a really good defense for the future. With the fifth pick, we got the New York Giants. They hired John Harbaugh. I'm a big fan of that. And I think here, they're most likely going to take an offensive player. For me, it's between wide receiver or we're talking offensive tackle. In my opinion, this might be different to what most people say. I don't think they're going to take a wide receiver, and I don't think they should. By the way, this mock draft is a little bit of I should and what I think they will. I think they're going to go Francis out of Miami. The reason is because I feel like they have the option. They can re-sign Wan'Dale Robinson, and still they have Malik Neighbors, and they have Darius Slayton. I think that wide receiver core, even though it's not great, I think teams always value offensive line more. And if you want to stop Dart from always feeling the need to scramble and always taking big hits, you take Francis and you protect him for the future. With the sixth pick, the Cleveland Browns. This one is also wide receiver or offensive tackle. But because there's kind of a fall off between Francis and Spencer, I'm going to take wide receiver here. There's the big three. We have Carnell Tate. In my opinion, he has the biggest floor. He's a really good deep threat playmaker. Then we have Makai Lemon. Makai Lemon is a really interesting player because if we look at his first look, he's 5'11", and you would think that's small, so he wouldn't be good at contested catches. But it's actually different with him. Makai Lemon is fearless. He's actually really good at contested catches. He's an interesting prospect, and I think you could consider taking him here. Finally, PFF adjusted Jordan Tyson down to 14th ranked. I think this is more fair because even though some people, I kind of think he might be the best player, the problem with him is that he got injured, and I think he's going to fall in the draft because of it. So for me, it's between Tate and Lemon, and I'm going to go Carnell Tate because, Ohio State goes to an Ohio team, and Carnell Tate is going to be a great wide receiver one who I can pretty confidently say will be a reliable player and will not turn into a bust. The Commanders pick here at 7. I think you could go multiple positions. I would like Caleb Downs here. I would like David Bailey here. You could go anywhere, but I think they should take an edge or a linebacker first. And so because David Bailey is here, I'm going to go David Bailey. David Bailey is extremely, extremely good at having an elite first step, and he's a very good pass rusher. The problem with David Bailey is that besides his first step, there's things that need to be worked on, and his run defense is not the best. But I still think he has maybe the most potential in this class as an edge. Next up, with pick number 8, we got the New Orleans Saints. Here, I think this pick is between a wide receiver and a running back. Many people love taking Jeremiah Love here, but I think they should take a wide receiver. I would take Makai Lemon. Like I said before, he's fearless, and I think he would be a good fit with Chris Olave because you would have your deep threat, and then you would have your Makai Lemon type player where you can use them in shorter areas and you can just throw them contested catches, which obviously you can't do as much with Olave because he's been concussed a lot. This fit also makes sense because if Carnell Tate were to be here and they were to take him, it would be kind of repetitive having two Ohio State guys who play the same exact role basically. With pick number 9, of course the Chiefs gotta be left with two amazing prospects to choose mainly between. Here I think you go Caleb Downs and you help the defense, or you go Jeremiah Love, take a running back. And that's what I'm going to do. A lot more people are mocking Jeremiah Love to the Chiefs as of recent. I really love this because Jeremiah Love will help balance out the offense, and it will not make Patrick feel like he has to do as much work. Like, I feel like a lot last year he started scrambling and he was throwing a lot more, which helped defenses, opposing teams obviously, prepare for him in a way where they were focused on stopping the pass game because they knew the run game wasn't much of a threat. With Jeremiah Love, you make both a threat, and obviously you make the defense have to scheme up a little better to stop the Chiefs. With the 10th pick, with the Bengals, we have to go defense here. There's no other option. You could maybe say guard, but their defense is just atrocious. I think it's the worst in the league. And I'm going to just take Caleb Downs because, number one, Caleb Downs is probably the number one prospect in this draft. He's just so smart. He's really good, versatile. He's a very sure tackler, so you can trust him in the backfield. One thing that you might not like about him is some people can say he's a box safety, which means he plays more up front. But in my opinion, I think he's versatile. You can use him as a regular safety or however you want, which is great for the Bengals because they really just need any help. And here, they get the best prospect falling down to pick number 10 because his position isn't valued as much. And it's just a great fit. Pick 11, the Miami Dolphins. Here, I think they got to go cornerback. You could say wide receiver, but I'm going to go Mansour Delane. The reason is because between McCoy and Delane, which are the cornerback 1 and 2, McCoy got hurt, so he didn't play much last year. He might have the best film out of all these prospects, but obviously teams don't like injured players, so I think he'll fall a little bit. And in this case, you take Mansour Delane, who's a really good safety, and you can trust him more injury-wise. With the 12th pick, Sonny Styles is just going to fall right in the laps of the Dallas Cowboys. The reason why I think Sonny Styles would be a great pick is because, kind of like Caleb Downs, he's a really good prospect who plays a position that isn't valued as much, so he'll most likely fall more. I think he's a top 5 player. And as you can see, PFF has it that the Cowboys need a linebacker, and I think this would be perfect. This would be a perfect fit and a great best player available type thing also. With the 13th pick, the Los Angeles Rams, who got this pick from the trade last year where the Falcons traded up to get James Pierce Jr. Right now, that's a sad situation because he got arrested. Hopefully, positive news comes out about that case for him and the Falcons. But let's get into the Rams pick. Here, I think you could go offensive tackle like it says they do need it. I don't think you reach on quarterback with Ty Simpson here. I don't think he's a first round type player, but I understand why teams would take him because quarterback is really valuable, but I just don't think the Rams need to here. Here, I think they bet on Jermod McCoy because, as you know, their defense, their weakness of the team is definitely in the secondary, as we saw. And Jermod McCoy might be the best player, and you won't need him to start like right away. You can kind of let him get healthier, which is a good thing. And I really trust this Rams team with making him a superstar in the future. With the 14th pick, we have the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens here, they could go guard. Vega Ioane, I hope I'm saying that right. Or I think they take an edge or a defensive lineman. In my opinion, they should take Vega Ioane. I think Vega is the best offensive lineman, but obviously guard isn't valued as much. And I know you might say this might be high for a guard, but Tyler Booker was a 12th, I think he was a 12th pick, to the Cowboys last year. And I think taking him here would be great value for the Ravens. The reason why the Ravens would take him here is because Tyler Linderbaum is going to be a free agent, and I don't know if he comes back. So that would massively hurt the center position. And then already, their guards are not so good. So I think they have to address this. And this is a perfect way to address it by taking Vega Ioane, who I think is the best offensive lineman. With the 15th pick, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here, I think they could go tight end, or they could go defense. Let's look through the options here. The ones that I think I'm between is Kenyon Sadiq, and then maybe Kedrick Folk. By the way, guys, I'm not a Cassius Howell fan. Many people have him top 15. I don't think he's a first-round prospect. There's a lot of red flags with him, such as he's a smaller player who In a college setting, he plays really good, but I don't know if his game translates to the NFL because he's a smaller edge, and he's an edge who relies a lot on athleticism, and he's kind of like a specialist as pass rushing, and his run game is pretty bad. So we're going to avoid him in this pick. And after thinking about it, I'm going to go with Kenyon Sadiq. I think he's a top 25 player, but the reason I'm taking him here with the Bucks is that he's a mismatch, and the Bucks could have a crazy offense with Kenyon Sadiq. As we know, I think Kadon is going to be a free agent, so this is a great replacement. I would understand defense here, but I think the fit with Kenyon Sadiq going to the Bucks is a great spot where you can actually take advantage of how physical and fast and just how much of an athlete he is. With the 16th pick, we have the New York Jets. This is beautiful that Jordan Tyson falls for them. I think this happens because of injury issues, of course. And Tyson and Garrett Wilson, whoever will be the quarterback in the future, will set him up in a great way with multiple pass receiving options. And honestly, this is kind of a best player available situation that the Jets are just lucky that falls into their laps. Next up, at pick 17, we have the Detroit Lions. Here, they're obviously going trenches. I wouldn't blame them for going defensive line, but I think I'm going to take Caden Proctor because this could be your Taylor Decker replacement. Obviously, I think their biggest reason that they lost as many games as I don't know if we expected them to lose that many games, was because of the offensive line, and they kind of need help in a lot of places. And the good thing with why I chose Proctor is that he's versatile, so you can play him at tackle, but he's also going to project as a good guard because if we look at his first look, he's a really heavy person, 366 pounds, and I think that would move better at the guard spot. Next up, we got the Minnesota Vikings. Here, I think you go defensive tackle because they have Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen, who are older players. And I think his name is Jalen Redmond. He's set to be a free agent. So even though PFF doesn't have it as a need, a lot of people are mocking a defensive tackle to the Vikings. And I think here you take best defensive tackle available, who is Peter Woods. The question with him is if last year was an actual showing of how good he was. The reason is because Clemson had a really bad season. So players like Avion Terrell, Peter Woods, and TJ Parker, they all had bad seasons. But the previous year, Peter Woods was looking like a top 10 pick. TJ Parker was also looking like a top 10 pick. And we were talking about Avion Terrell as a top 15 pick. And as we saw in the Senior Bowl, TJ Parker really stood out. So we can maybe just fault that last season that it just didn't go right. And I think Peter Woods, because of that, is the best defensive tackle. Next up, with the Carolina Panthers, we definitely got to go defensive line. Like I said before, I do not like Cassius Howell, so we're not going Cassius Howell. They definitely need a pass rusher, and I don't think Keldrick Folk is going to get you that necessarily because he's more of a run defender. So I think I'm going to go TJ Parker here. Back-to-back Clemson Tigers. Let's go. Reason why I'm going to take TJ Parker here is because I have him as a top 25 player. And the cool thing about him is that compared to a lot of these other edges, like Folk and Howell especially, he's one of the more safer prospects who already have a high floor, and you can expect him to contribute immediately and be a good pass rush disruptor for a long time. Next up, with the Cowboys, we took Sonny Styles with their first pick. And this second pick, they got from the Mike Parsons trade from Green Bay. Here, I think you could take edge. I would like Keldrick Folk or Avion Terrell. These are both players that I'd like, but I'm going to take Folk. I think Folk is a good fit because he will help the run defense a lot. He's a young player. He's a bigger body type player, but his strength is the run defense, and he definitely needs work in pass pro. But I think a combination of someone like Sonny Styles, who could affect the pass pro, and have Keldrick Folk as the run defender, first 2 picks for their draft, would be a great way to kind of balance out that defense and majorly help them become better. Next up, with the Steelers and the 21st pick, is it Ty Simpson range? I don't know. I don't think they're the team that would take him. Instead, I think they might look wide receiver because that was their biggest need. And actually, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come back because Mike McCarthy is coaching, and I think he loves, Mike McCarthy's an older coach, and I think he loves just like his philosophy. It kind of reminds him of Tomlin, so he'll want to come back for one more year. Here, you take Denzel Boston because in a way he's kind of like Mike Evans, and I know it might sound repetitive to have DK Metcalf and him, 2 bigger bodies, but I think he's the best wide receiver on the board, and I think him and Metcalf can still work well together, and it would majorly help their wide receiver core. Next up, with the Chargers, pick 22. You could go defensive line, but I think this has to be interior offensive line. And for the pick here, I think you're between Caleb Lomo, Monroe Freeling, or Emmanuel Pregnon. I'm going to go Emmanuel Pregnon because Freeling and Lomu are more like pure tackles, and obviously Pregnon is a guard. And at tackle, even though they're injured a lot, you have Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater, who are 2 really good tackles. So you're kind of forced here to take Pregnon. And I know that PFF had him 43rd ranked, but in my opinion, he's an older player who can step in right away and contribute, which is exactly what the Chargers need. And I think he's at least a top 35 player who you could consider taking here, and I really like the fit and pick for the Chargers here. Next up, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. Here, I think they're just going to beef up in the trenches. Who knows what they do? But this might be my Cassius Howell pick. I'm picking Howell here, not because I think he deserves to be picked here, but I think it's realistic for the Eagles to take because their defense is already pretty good, and I think it's a really good situation for Howell to go into. He can succeed because I think if you went to like maybe a different situation, he would struggle a lot and probably become a bust prospect. Here with the Eagles, I think you give him a chance to become a really good prospect. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns, pick 24. Here, with the first pick of theirs, pick 6, we took Carnell Tate. Here, I think you go offensive tackle. This one is between Monroe Freeling and Caleb Lumu. I think you're going to go Caleb Lumu because Monroe Freeling is younger, and I think you need someone who can contribute right away, and I trust Caleb Lumu to be there right away. Next, we got the Bears picking Caden McDonald. This has been mock draft so much. I love this pick because McDonald, he's kind of like Tyleik Williams of last year, who the Lions took. But he's better. He's just a big, beefy person who's going to shut down the run and can help you in pass pro. Anything on the defensive line is good. And I think you could trust Caden McDonald as a pro-ready, right now type player that can shut down that run. Is majorly going to help that defense become better. With the 26th pick, the Buffalo Bills are going to take... Let's go KC Conception. Conception is a big playmaker who you got to throw the ball to him, and he'll just make plays. I like this fit. Any wide receiver could fit, most likely, in this Bills offense, just because they have such a need here that I think come draft time, the best decision is to just take whoever the best one is. And there's definitely a fall off after conception, because Chris Bell, he tore his ACL, so I think he goes even lower. And yeah, I like the fit, and I think it addresses their biggest need. Next up, we have the 49ers. Here, I think they have to go defense. They could go wide receiver, but now that Conception's gone, who I know they would like, they kind of are forced to take a defensive lineman just because they have injuries and they need someone who can obviously replace them. Here, I'm going to take Akeem Mesidor. I like Akeem Mesidor. Even if he might be 25 come draft time, he might be the most pro-ready player in this class. You guys might think that because he's older, he doesn't have as much growing to do, which is true. But we also don't know if these younger players are actually going to develop as much as you want them to. So I think you take the safe pick for a team who wants to contend right now and can contend right now, taking Akeem Mesidor. Here we go. 5 more picks left. With pick 28, the Texans are on the clock. In this situation, you can talk offensive line, but they need more interior, so I don't know if that fits with Monroe Freeling. So here, I think you take Caleb Banks, because he's the best player available. And I think even if their defense is already so good, their defensive tackle spot could definitely have someone who could fill in and improve them and make them maybe the best defense in the league, even better than Seattle. With pick 29, we have the LA Rams. First pick, we went with Jermod McCoy. Here, it might be Ty Simpson time, baby. They're going to go Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson started really hot this college football season. He kind of went cold and he missed a lot of throws, but there's a lot to like in him in a way that he doesn't really excel at anything, but he's really good at just being decent at a lot of things, and I see him as a good leader. He could have some growing to do in that situation, but any young quarterback could obviously improve. And I think sitting behind Matthew Stafford would be a great decision, a great fit, and I think this will most likely be your franchise quarterback if they were to take him here, which I think is a pretty realistic pick. Next up, we have the Denver Broncos at pick 30. Here, you could go edge. Zion Young is extremely good, and he's really competitive, so he's one of my choices here for them. But I think they need linebacker more, so I'm going to go C.J. Allen. C.J. Allen is a big thumper who's just going to destroy people, and I really like that. Obviously, from Georgia, so I feel like you can trust him to be a good player. To me, he's just a really solid player all around who's better at the run game, and I think he's going to help the Broncos defense even more. Next up, with the 31st pick, we have the New England Patriots. Here, screw it. I'm going to take Monroe Freeling. I think Will Campbell can kick into guard. After what we saw yesterday, I still think they need more offensive line. It definitely could help to take a defensive lineman, but taking tackle here is a great pick. Monroe Freeling is a guy who, he's really young. He's kind of a project, but I think he can start right away and make that whole offensive line improve so that the next time they're in the Super Bowl, Drake May is a really good quarterback, so I think they will be in a few years. They will have a much better chance at competing with whoever represents the NFC. With the final pick, we got the Seattle Seahawks. Best defense in the league. Let's go. What a great Super Bowl they had. I'm really happy about that. They really deserve it. With this pick, you could go cornerback or you could go edge. I don't know if I've never seen, but I haven't seen a lot of times where Avion Terrell falls here. And trust me, this wasn't what I was planning. I kind of just did this mock draft on the fly. But because Terrell is here, he's the best cornerback available. I think you just have to go Avion Terrell. And he has a really good peanut punch in a way where he just punches the ball out. He's really good at that. He's kind of like a playmaker cornerback, which can definitely help the Seahawks. And they can put him in situations where he can make those big plays, which can obviously help the defense become even better at making turnovers. And I think it's pretty simple here. You just take the best cornerback available. Finally, we got the mock draft recap. This is our recap. If you made it here this far in this video, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate you guys watching, and please leave a comment down below. What are your thoughts on this mock draft and what you would like to see in the future and what I can do better? Until next time, see you guys.